Analogy of faith. The analogy of faith, analogia fidei, is a term used in Christian theology to describe the relationship between different elements of Christian belief. It is a concept that helps to ensure that all aspects of Christian doctrine are consistent with one another and with the overall message of the Bible. At its core, the analogy of faith is the idea that all aspects of Christian belief are interconnected, and that no one element can be understood in isolation from the others. This means that we must always interpret individual passages of the Bible in light of the overall message of the Bible, and in light of the teachings of the Christian Church. One way to think about the analogy of faith is to consider the relationship between the parts of a puzzle. Each piece of the puzzle is important and contributes to the overall picture, but it cannot be understood in isolation from the other pieces. Similarly, each aspect of Christian doctrine is important and contributes to our understanding of God and His plan for the world, but it cannot be understood in isolation from the other aspects. The analogy of faith has been an important concept in Christian theology for centuries, and it has been used to explain a wide range of theological concepts, including the nature of God, the nature of humanity, and the meaning of salvation. It is particularly important in the area of biblical interpretation, where it helps to ensure that we interpret individual passages of the Bible in light of the overall message of the Bible. One of the main benefits of the analogy of faith is that it helps to ensure that our understanding of Christian doctrine is consistent and coherent. By interpreting each element of Christian belief in light of the others, we can avoid the kind of contradiction and confusion that can arise when we take individual passages of the Bible out of context. However, the analogy of faith is not without its critics. Some have argued that it can lead to a kind of circular reasoning, in which we interpret the Bible in light of our preconceived beliefs, rather than allowing the Bible to challenge and shape our beliefs. Others have argued that the analogy of faith can lead to a kind of intellectual rigidity, in which we are unwilling to consider alternative interpretations of the Bible, or to acknowledge the complexity and diversity of Christian belief. Despite these criticisms, the analogy of faith remains an important concept in Christian theology, and it continues to be used to ensure that all aspects of Christian belief are consistent with one another and with the overall message of the Bible, whether we see it as a helpful tool or a problematic concept. The analogy of faith reminds us of the importance of taking a holistic and coherent approach to Christian doctrine and interpretation. Bible verses. Deuteronomy chapter 6:4-5. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. Psalm chapter 119:105. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Proverbs chapter 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. Romans chapter 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. 2 Timothy chapter 3:16-17. All Scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, equipped for every good work.